Hello everybody, I am Jedi Jack Penguin and welcome back to another LEGO Creator 3-in-1 review. Today we're going to be looking at one of my most anticipated sets for next year 2024 for this theme, that being set number 31150, the Wild Safari Animals. This set includes 780 pieces retailing for $64.99 when it releases on January 1st of 2024. Over the last few years, LEGO has been releasing some really amazing creator sets, especially when it comes to animal builds, and this one is no different. I just think this giraffe looks so amazing, and I also really can't wait to look at the alternate builds as well. We get one for a lion, as well as a pair of gazelles, both a baby and an adult one, which is so adorable. And I mean, who can forget about the flamingo that comes with that giraffe there? I just think that this is going to be a really fun set, and I just cannot wait to bust this open and start building it once I'm done recording. Speaking of the box art, you get your logos, regular information off the side, and a cartoony-ish background, all very polygony, which you'll see typical for LEGO Creator sets. And then from the back side, you get a better look at those alternate builds for both the lion and the gazelles there. Really great to see them up close, can't wait to see how they turn out as the final models. Opening up the box, you get a total of 6 numbered bags, in addition to 3 instruction manuals, one for each of the alternate builds. From the front of each instruction manual, you'll see the alternate build that corresponds with it. We have the main one, the lion, and then the gazelles. From the back of the main one, you get your win information, as well as an advertisement for the other January 1st Creator 3-in-1 reviews for 2024. You guys can expect reviews for this one, as well as the camera set. To begin our alternate builds, we have a pair of gazelle, we have a mother with her calf, in addition to some shrubbery to set up the scene. Now, if you build this particular build, you will end up with a number of extra parts, which you can use to build any of the other alternate models once you disassemble this one. Beginning with the shrubbery, LEGO calls this a set of 2 bushes, which is kind of confusing. Is this supposed to be a tree, and why is the bark gray? That is probably one of the things that confused me the most, though of course these pieces are probably used elsewhere, hopefully not only on these tree builds throughout the 3 alternate builds. Additionally, I do have to point out the use of water, which is using that lighter aqua blue, which we will see as water in most other LEGO sets. And we also get these little cattail plants, which are really adorable. You get 2 of them, one of which for some reason not really in the water, but close enough, I suppose. Lots and lots of leafy pieces. Definitely think that this set is going to be a big one that mock builders are going to want to get. Next up, we have the baby gazelle, and just look at that face right there. You get those printed eyes, which were introduced way back in 2019. Get the nose as a stud. Just the shaping of the head I'm really happy with. You also get the clip piece connection for the ears, which you can adjust as you see fit. I do have to point out these clip pieces, which are in the nougat color. I believe these only come in 2 other sets at the moment, so those are pretty nice to get. Another really cool thing about the head is that you can turn it side to side. I'll remove it just so then you can see how it's connected using one of these bar connections on one of those studs. Really love how they do that. I think that works very well just to give you that articulation. As far as the neck goes, you can't actually move it, unlike the adult gazelle. From the back side, you'll see a little clip piece for the tail. I do kind of question why there's gold here for the clip piece and not something that would much better fit the color scheme, but I guess we'll take what we can get. And then of course you get those ball joints, which allow you to move the legs, which you can move back and forth and kind of sideways-ish. Kind of weird. You can make him do funny things. You can make him stand on his back 2 legs, which you can also do that with the adult one, which I have tried, and it is really hilarious. But again, plenty of points of articulation. Really my only complaint is the color of those ball joint pieces not matching the rest of the model. Otherwise, I'm really happy with how it turned out, all the way down to the teeny tiny hooves from the bottom using those brown studs. To go along with baby, we get the mama, which is So amazing. I love how this one turned out, and probably my favorite part just being the fact that you can make the neck go up and down to make him feed on the plants. I just think that's a really cool feature, and how they do that is with some ball joints right here using those construction joints in brown. Those are really nice to get in this set. Again, the range of motion there I'm just really pleased with. Get a ball joint for the head itself so you can move that side to side very nice and easily. Get those clip piece connections for the ears. Get the antlers from the very top. And those same printed eye pieces and just the same general shaping of the head that you also saw for the baby. Just like the baby, we do happen to get this little nub of a tail, also using that golden clip piece connection, which does confuse me. As far as the rest of the color scheme goes, I do really love getting a lot of the orange-brown color in this set. Some of those I believe should be new recolors. I'm not 100% certain. As for the leg connection, we do get these joints, which do look kind of ugly color scheme-wise, but it does give you that range of motion where you can move it up and down in that odd way, or back and forth, with a little bit of noise. You'll get those same joints from the back side, and this also allows you to give some more posability here. So just like the Majestic Tiger, you can spread those legs out a little bit if you're trying to pose it in a certain way. I also have to point out the difference in design for the legs, for the back legs compared to the front legs, which I do really like. We did see the same thing when it came to the baby, it's just that here you can definitely see that there is some beef going on that side leg there. And another thing that we see here that we don't see on the baby are these ball joints for the bottom of the hooves. Just as I said, you do get a lot of range of motion just to pose this guy around. You really can have some fun with it. On to the next alternate build, we have my second favorite of this set, that being the lion, which looks really cool. I'm so happy with how this one turns out. I just feel like this is a set you may want to buy more than one of just to build all the alternate models, but the lion isn't all we get in here. We also get a small little tree build to set the scene, which also comes with a little butterfly. Now, just like the Gazelles, if you build this particular model, you will end up with a number of extra parts that you can use when disassembling this one to build the final model of the Giraffe. Starting with our little piece of nature, this tree build I am very much satisfied with. Compared to the nature build that we saw with our last alternate model, I appreciate the bark actually being brown and not gray like we saw with some of that. And we have a little bit of land and a little bit of water. We have those little cattail plants returning yet again, one of which not even in the water. It is what it is. Lots of leafy pieces, lots of clip piece connections and Technic connections to give everything its proper angling. And then finally, one thing I have to mention from the very top is that we get this little butterfly build which utilizes both sets of those 1x1 eye prints. Not a bad build at all for a butterfly, it works to great effect, and if you're not happy with its placement, of course you can place it on any of the other leaves or just have it separate flying around. One of the fiercest animals of the jungle is the lion, and this is such a cool build, especially the face of this thing. I'm really satisfied with how it turned out, and just the way that they made the eyes, which aren't using those printed pieces. You see those printed pieces on the butterfly. I just think it's really interesting that they chose this particular design for the eyes. And also just look at the face there. I mean, just the curves and everything, and the use of these tile pieces, it just works very well. And using that slope piece right there for the nose, just a perfect design as a whole. Also have to talk about the mane, which uses a lot of those 2x2 circular plate pieces. You'll also see these little heart-shaped 1x1s in this orange-brown color, which I believe is brand new for this particular set. Oh yeah, and we also have the ears represented by these horseshoe pieces, which I think is really funny. The only thing that I do have to minorly complain about when it comes to the head is the fact that we don't really get a lot of posability. You just get a little bit of wiggle movement, and that's all thanks to some ball joint connections, which you can see from the very back over here, that particular connection. You'll also see another one just for the angling of the head, just so then you have that slightly downward angle for the head. You'll also see the mane continue a little bit from the very back with that orange-brown color scheme. I really like how that turned out. And then you'll see the rest of the tan as we move to the back, and a nice white underbelly. From the back side, you'll find the tail, where you get a ball joint connection just for lots of posability at the base, and some clip connections for some more posability as you move right down the line to the very end. This particular part, I'm also really satisfied how it turned out. It's perfect, this tail. Usually LEGO has some sort of weird thing going on with these tails, but this one I think is really great. I mean, one minor thing I guess we should complain about is the coloring of these ball joint pieces. Finally, we have the front and back legs. Of course, a lot beefier towards the back end and a little bit more slim from the front. We have a similar design as what we saw when it came to the Rocket Raccoon legs over here, where we're using a clip piece connection in addition to one of these hinge plates, just to give you that slight curve going down all the way to the feet, where you'll also see some more ball joints, so then you can position the feet a little bit better if you want to, and the claws, which aren't too scary, thankfully. You'll also find a joint from the very base, which will be the same joint that you see for the legs on all the other animals, which allow the legs to go up and down, and back and forth. Before I end off, I did want to show this guy in a pouncing position, or at least as close as we can get. Honestly, I'm so pleased with this set. This alternate build is amazing. Finishing off strong, we have the main model of the Wild Safari animals. We have the Giraffe, which also comes with a pretty sizable tree build as well as a flamingo. As this being the main model, you'll get your regular amount of extra pieces as you would in any other LEGO set. Starting with our one piece of nature, as we did within the last two alternate builds, we have this giant tree, and just like the last one that we saw with the lion, I do really appreciate that we have the brown color scheme for the branches of this tree, unlike the light gray that we saw when it came to the Gazelles, which we now know work on the flamingo for this particular model. For the tree, you'll see some building on the side, which works very well for the bottom of the tree. You'll get your little bit of water and a little bit of land from the side. As we move up, you'll start seeing some of the leafy pieces and some of the bigger leafy pieces. We'll have some different connections for these, mostly Technic, except from the very top where you'll see some of those ball joints just to give you some different angles when it comes to the positioning of some of those branches there, which I think makes it look really nice. And I'll just put it out in the distance and spin it around just so then you can get that 360 view of this tree. A surprise for sure, but a welcome one is our build for the flamingo, and I think this turned out really amazing. For starters, talking about the head design, I really do like getting this tail piece within that pink color. I believe that might be brand new for this particular set. You'll also see those printed 1x1s for the eyes, which are connected on one of those Overwatch gun pieces in pink, which we have actually seen this particular gun in this color for LEGO Overwatch, I'm pretty certain. For the beak, you'll get one of those spike pieces there. I love how they did the wings as well, where we're using one of those heart-shaped plate pieces just for like the main base, and then we have some slope pieces and also those melon slice tile pieces from the side. We also use a heart plate for the tail from the very back. This is connected via clip piece, so then you can move it up and down as you want to. I also have to speak about the leg connection, how we use these smaller 1x1s which have the stud on the side, which also have that curved back, just so then you can have that range of motion within the actual part. If I remove it off the base, losing a few pieces in the process, but still I can show you that we do get that range of motion with the legs if you're not going to connect this to the base. Now, one last thing that I did want to mention about the legs, we get one straight and we get one curved. I think that works very well just for the display of this particular animal, and again we get a base just to help along with making sure that this can stand on a flat surface without falling down with those very, very small feet there. A fairly tall build as it should be, we have the Giraffe, which looks amazing. I'm very pleased with this model. There's really only like two things that I guess I could complain about when it comes to its design. More specifically, that's the posability on this thing. Now, we do get quite a lot of posability, which I am very pleased with, though I really wish that there was more movement in the neck area as well as the legs, where we don't get any knee joints, which we didn't see any knee joints on the tiger or the gazelle, so honestly can't really complain there. It is pretty much the same design. We didn't get knee joints on the majestic tiger either, but still I definitely think that it would have been really nice just to have that extra bit of posability, though of course that would sacrifice the stability just a little bit as the legs get rather thin as we move to the bottom. Looking at the head design for the giraffe, one really interesting thing to note is that the eyes are built using these unprinted microphone pieces in black. I think it's really cool that they did the eyes in that particular way. I think it makes it different and unique compared to the other models that you build in this set. As far as the rest of the design, I really love a lot of the sloping and tiling off. You have those ears with the clip piece connections so you can adjust them. As far as posability goes for this area, we do get a ball joint so you can move the head up and down and a little bit side to side as you see fit. Looking at the neck design and the posability there, we can move the neck down and up and all the way up and even past where it probably should be going. The movement in the neck is done in the same exact way that we saw it for the adult gazelle, where we're using some of those construction joints and ball joints in order to help move this back and forth. Another really cool thing that I like about the neck is how we do get the fur going down the back and the continuation of this body pattern using lots of these tile pieces, including these heart-shaped ones, which I did mention earlier are brand new in that color for this set. The spots continue down the body and even onto the legs, and I'm really pleased with all the different tile pieces. From the very back side, you'll notice that we do happen to get a tail, which has this ball joint connection at the base, and just like the line, some clip pieces leading all the way to the bottom over here, where we also get one of those plain black head pieces. Really nice to get one of those in this set. We don't see those too often these days. Back to the legs, we get different designs for the front ones than we get for the back. Again, spotted look moving all the way to the bottom where they get very, very thin. I would have loved to see some knee joints. They do kind of tease you with that when it comes to having these hinge plates down here. But as far as posability goes, we do get that same range of motion that we saw with the other animals, where you can move these a little bit off to the side like that, or back and forth, where it'll make a little bit of noise. You'll get that same range of motion from the backside, which mostly helps with positioning the animal when you can move the legs like that, and then move them back and forth to help with walking. And at the very base, you'll notice that we have some more of those ball joint connections for the little feet. So overall, for $65, is this set worth it? Well, if you're getting this for any of the builds, including the alternate builds, I definitely think it's worth your money. I think the giraffe is definitely the standout as far as displayability goes. I think this will look really nice on your shelf. Though that could also be said about the gazelles and the lion, which I think are just really amazing builds. I am overall really pleased with this particular set. I just think you can't go wrong building any of them. I also think this set is great for not only kids but collectors, as we have as much options for displayability as we do playability when it comes to a lot of the posability that you can do with these different animals. I also have to say that this set is also going to team up very well with that majestic tiger, even though it's not exactly to scale. They're still animals and they'll look nice together on display, and for sure will make for some fun pictures that I'll be sharing on my Instagram sometime in the future. So yeah, that's all that I have to say for this video. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, what your thoughts are on this set. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you know when I upload a new video. So yeah, that's it for now, and I will see you next time. Bye!